Hey guys, Malik here, back again with another video. In this video, I'm going to cover the basics of Kali Linux and intuitively make you feel comfortable with Linux commands. Well, I'm using the latest and greatest version of Kali Linux, that is 22.3 version right now. If you're using a different version, everything is going to be the same, but you might see a different interface of this Kali Linux. Okay, now the first thing I'd like to do before we get started with any commands or anything like that, just take a look around this Linux and kind of demonstrate why ethical hackers or penetration testers might use this kind of distribution of Linux. So let us take a look and just explore Kali Linux in a bit. Now I want to talk about the built-in tools. So if we come up here in the left side corner, we can see a Kali logo. When we click on this, we can see all the applications are categorized here. So we have favorites at the top. Inside this, we have terminals and we have file manager, we have text editor, we have web browser, which is basically Firefox and so on. So we have information gathering. Indeed, information gathering is the first step of hacking. You can come in here and look through this. We have a bunch of tools related to information gathering. So we have DNS and network port scanner, open source intelligence. Now, let us say we are coming here and we want to crack a passport while we go into the passport attacks. Got a bunch of tools already built in for us. Now we will be going to learn these tools in later on our videos. But for now, let's stronger our fundamentals. We can come in here and here we can see a terminal icon. When we click on this, it pops a new terminal window in which we are gonna living in. And before learning Linux commands, once think why should we learn Linux commands? In fact, after certain stages, you have to master your Linux commands because without mastering Linux commands, you cannot master your ethical hacking or penetration testing as a whole. In the coming videos, you will find many examples where you have to open your Linux terminal and type commands. For example, when you work with hacking tools or frameworks like Nmap or Metasploit, you have to use your terminal. So it is good to get acquainted with some Linux commands now. Alright, now let's understand what does this means here. Now think this as an email that we have the username at the left side and we have the hostname at the right side between the symbol. Now this is a simple command. For example, if you wanted to check out on which account we are currently in, you can just type here command which basically does what it says. It is who am I. The command basically just asks who is the current user of this terminal, and right now we can see csmalik. You can also read from here as I have said you before. Here which most likely be the root. As a user we do not have privileges to access some files. I will talk about this in a moment. Okay, now if I want to print the hostname of the device, then hostname is the command. If I hit on enter, this says your hostname is Kali. Now this indicates the location that we are in. So the command I want to show you is pwd, which stands for print working directory. And in Linux, directory is just a folder. So it basically just prints out the current directory that we are in, which in my case /home/csmalik. And if you're new to Linux, you're not getting what is this /home/csmalik means, then let me give you the basic understanding of Linux file system. Now I'm going to talk about some important directories by showing you in graphical user interface GUI in file manager. So let me open the file manager by clicking on this Kali logo here, and then from favorites, file manager, and then the file system. In Linux file system hierarchy, slash is the top level directory and slash is the root directory of the file system, where all the directories of the Linux file system starts from slash. As we can see from our terminal right over here, /home/csmalik. And slash should not be confused with this /root directory, where that is the home directory for the root user. Okay, now /bin directory contains binary files that can be used by both the system administrator and the user. For example, we have run previously whoami command that should be in this directory. There it is, whoami. So basically /bin directory contains commands which is binary files. Also user specific binary files are kept in /usr/bin directory. And in /usr directory, user related programs are kept on this directory. Okay, now similar to /bin directory, we have /bin directory, which basically contains binary files related to system administration, which are stored in this directory. And basically when I use the word binary files, that refers to the commands. And all these utilities are used by the system administrator. Okay. Now in /etc directory contains system configuration files that controls how the operating system or application behave. And the files inside this directory usually have naming convention ending with .conf, such as sudo.conf, updatedb.conf, systemctl.conf and etc. So this shadow file basically holds the encrypted passports of the corresponding account, and this is a sensitive file, and we do not have the permissions to access this file as a user. We will use this file when I explain about sudo command. Okay, now we have slash home directory here, which is the home directory for specified user. And here it is created like if we create a new user, it creates a new directory here. And if you go to login, it will automatically puts you there as well. For example, if we come up here, csmalik is set as default because I have logged into that account. By the way, I have only one account in this Kali machine. And here is the slash root directory, which is the home directory for the root user. This is for specified user and this is for only the root user. Okay, now this one actually slash var stands for variable files. So it contains all sort of files that can actually change with each system startup and that sort of things. It has information on, let us say it has log information. Typically the location where system files are stored. Here stuff on mail servers, and it has other temporary information here. So things that can actually change with every new day or every new system startup. And so yeah, that's pretty much about slash var directory. Okay, those are some important directories that you should know as a beginner, and I wanted to show you because you need to have some idea how Linux file system be like. And this is not the best practice using in GUI. I opened this file manager for you guys if you are a beginner. So let me close this file manager and continue learning our commands. Now one important command is to clear the screen, so you do not see all of this all the time. You can do it with a simple command which basically just as it says, just clears. So type here clear, and it should remove all the commands that you ran previously, and it should give you a new and freshly opened terminal. Now if we want to change the directory, we would firstly need to know what subdirectories are in this slash home slash csmalik. In order to list all the files and all the subdirectories in slash home slash csmalik, we can just type here ls, which will show us all the current subdirectories that are located in slash home slash csmalik directory. As we can see, we have desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, public, and two more directories. So if you, for example, wanted to list all the files that are in this directory, you would do it with ls-l for long listing and a for all. ls-la command. What this does is basically, it will print out these subdirectories, but it will also print out the hidden files and hidden subdirectories. And we can see right here, it printed out more files than this ls command. Right here. So as you can see, all these files start with a dot are not seen in the ls command. So if you want to take a wide view on all of the current files in this directory, you can do it with ls-la command. Okay, now let me clear the screen and list the content again. Now for example, let us say you wanted to go to the desktop directory, which is the subdirectory of slash home slash csmalik. You can do that with a simple command, which is basically just cd and then the name of the directory. A simple trick here is when we type something of its beginning and then when we hit on the tab button, it auto completes for us. Okay, this cd stands for change directory, and it will basically just put us in the desktop directory right now. As you can see right here, the terminal is now located in slash home in this user slash desktop directory. If we type here the pwd command once again, it will show us that now our current directory is slash home slash csmalik slash desktop. Now let's say for example you wanted to create a file in the desktop directory. You can do that with a simple command, which is touch, and let's say file.txt for example. And now if I type ls here, which will list all the files in this directory, we can see it prints out the file.txt. We created the file.txt with this command right over here. So basically the touch command creates the files. And let us say right now, we for example wanted to remove this file. Now how do we remove the file? We remove it with a two-letter command, which is just rm, which stands for remove. So we just type here rm and the file name, which is file.txt. And if we type here ls once again, which will list the files in this directory, we will see nothing here. because the only file that was there is file.txt that we previously created and then deleted it. Let us say we, for example, wanted to create a subdirectory in this desktop directory. So to make a directory, which is basically just a folder, you want to type the command mkdir, which stands for make directory, and then type there the directory name you want to make. So for example, let us say we want to make a directory called tools, and let us say we list here the current desktop directory. It will have a subdirectory called tools, which we have just created. Now you might notice that the subdirectories are in different color than the basic file. So let's make a file again. So to create multiple files in one command, simply touch, and now we are going to use a simple shortcut in creating multiple files. Let us say we want to make 5 files. Here give any file name and then open curly braces, then starting number, for example 1, and then dot dot, and then the stopping number, for example 5. Close the curly braces, and if we want we can also give the extensions like .txt at the end, and let's list again, and we can see 5 files here. From file 1.txt to file 5.txt is white color, while the subdirectory is blue color. So files will be different color than subdirectories. You should have that idea. Well, it is not that important, but you will get used to it in time. So let's delete these files again with rm command. So the trick here is we will be going to change this touch to the rm. So to get the previous command, click upper arrow on your keyboard. We ran ls command and then the touch command. So control side arrow and then change the touch as rm. Hit on enter, ls. So we can see there are no files here. Okay, now let's say we want to remove this tools directory, which is basically just a folder. You want to type the command rmdir, which stands for remove directory, and then type the directory name you want to remove. So T and then tab button, it auto completes in typing the name. And if we type ls again, there is no tools directory anymore. So let's clear our screen with clear command. Now, for example, if you wanted to go one directory back, how do you do that? Well, there comes a simple command which also starts with cd. But instead of typing here the directory name, you can just type here 2 dots, which will basically lead you one directory back. So if I press enter here, it will lead me back to the previous directory. As you can see right here, /home/csmalik. And if we type ls to list the current directory and files in this directory, we will once again see this desktop directory right here. Okay, basically just wanted to mention that you can also change directory with cd command, and you can also go one directory back. Okay, now chmod is an important command, especially if you are running some of the programs or downloading the programs which are not executable, and you, for example, wanted to make them executable so you can run them in your terminal. Now, in order to demonstrate this command, I would like to make a directory. So let me clear this command by pressing Ctrl+U. So let me make a directory called projects. And as we can see right here, and I will change my directory to projects on tab, enter. Right now I will basically just create a simple Python program, and I will show another trick that is often used in Linux. Suppose you want to write a text file quickly, you can use nano, which comes with every Linux distribution. Just type nano and then the name of file that you want to create or edit in your terminal. I will just name the file as name.py, and it will open a text editor on the terminal. Right here I will just code a simple program in Python. So just give me a second. It does not matter at the moment what I am doing, but we will also cover in Python later on. For example, let us welcome the user. So this is a simple program that I have made, just asking the name and then welcoming the user. Okay, to exit Ctrl+X, and we want to save this. So hit on Y. Okay, leave the file name as default and hit on enter. Okay, usually seasoned programmers like to work on the terminal, VI or Nano. Popular because they are fast and easy to work with. So we have a program here called name.py. It is a Python program, but you might notice that if you try to run the program and you had to do that by typing /, the // refers to the current directory, and then the name of program, just hit on tab button, you will notice that it does not work. It would say permission denied. Now why is that permission denied? Well, if we use a command, first let me clear the screen. Right here, if we use the command ls-la, we can see all the files in the current directory, also the hidden files and our name.py. Now what interests us here is this part right here. Basically these are just the modes that are enabled for this file. R stands for read, W stands for write, and the X stands for execute. So we don't have X here. Therefore we cannot really execute in this file name.py. In order to make that file executable, we want to type here chmod and then plus to add X to make executable and then the name of file. Now if I click on enter and type here ls-la again, you can see now that the program has changed its color, and not only the color, it also added X here which stands for execute. As I have said, you can see the difference from here and also from here, and that is how you can check if the program is executable or not. Now if you wanted to, you can also run the program. It is asking to enter your name. If I hit on enter, it says welcome Malik. This command is important and you should learn it. It can be used to make any program that is not executable and executable. So let me clear the screen again. Now we will use it for another command called cat. Let's cover that command right now. Cat basically just print out the files contained into our own terminal as an output. So if you type here cat and then the name of file, it will just print out the code that we just typed. As you can see right here, it can be used so you do not really open the file in order to read this. You can just type it out with the help of cat command, which will just print out all the contents from the file. Well, that is not the main use of this command. Would probably be in some of the biggest files where you just want to find a certain thing in them. In order to demonstrate what I mean, let me combine this cat command with another command called grep. Now basically what grep does is, if you want to list for example a huge file with a bunch of words, and from that huge file you want to put aside all the words that contains for example passwords in them. Now we will create another file which will be called passwords.txt, and here we will just type a bunch of words randomly and then 123 csmalik 123 and then a bunch of words again, and then for example ABC, CS Malik, ABC, and a bunch of other random words. And as I have said, Ctrl plus X to exit, and then to save this we need to press Y, leave the file name as default and hit on enter, and we can see right here that we have passport.txt file. Now in order to see the content of that file, as I said, we can just type cat and we will see all those words. Find all the words containing passwords in them. But let's say for example that this file is bigger with millions and millions of words. You cannot probably go through all the words and just find by yourself all those words that contains passwords in them. So what you want to do is combine the cat command with the grep command. Basically we start with the same command, cat password, hit on the tab button, it auto completes, and then we basically pipe the grep command. Well, how do we pipe? Basically this straight line to stop it right here, and then you type here grep and then the word that you want to be contained in other words. So for example csmalik in our case, well what does this do is, here it lists all the words in this file and here this searches for this particular word, and then as we can see listed two words which is 123 csmalik 123 and then ABC csmalik ABC. So it is often a very important mix of two commands. Another important command is echo. This command literally echoes everything you write on your terminal. You can also do something more with this command. You can change a text file with this command. Previously we wrote a text file called passports.txt and saved it in projects directory. Now we will overwrite this file with echo command. For example, hello world. If I hit on enter, this shows me the output as hello world. So basically the echo prints out the text. And now let's overwrite this passports echo Bob, and then let's redirect into passports file. If I hit on enter, then we can use cat command to read the file. Now we have only one passport in this passports.txt file. We had just overwrite the file with this command, And also we can add the passports at the end instead of removing all the passports with the same command, but here two greater than symbols. And let's change the text also, like csmalik. If I hit on enter and cat again, passports, we can see two words are there now because we have appended this text at the end. So let me keep the screen clear. Alright, so far we have learned some basic commands. Now I have to talk about sudo. Sudo is very important, and what happened previously was that in the earlier versions of Kali Linux, we ran as a user called root. You could think of it as an administrator of the machine. Now we are running as a user called csmalik. So we do not have root privileges directly. This is an improved security feature because we should be running only certain commands when we need to as a user. So we are going to see is how we can run commands as an elevated privilege. And we are going to do that with sudo, which stands for super user do. So we just have sudo now. Okay, now with sudo, what we are doing is we are saying, hey, I want to run the command as an elevated, or I want to run this as a higher user. In this instance, we can say I want to run the command as a root. Why this command is important? Well, let's take a look at an example. Let us say that I want to look at a very sensitive file, which we have seen before as shadow file. So let me read the file as a user. So I will remove the sudo for now. So I will use a shortcut Ctrl+U to remove what we have typed, and you can read the text with cat and then the file name slash at the beginning etc slash shadow. So again all I'm doing is saying, hey, I want to print out this file. Okay, and here I cannot see it. It says permission denied. You do not have the access to see this file. But if I was a root or somebody that has elevated privilege, I could see it. So I could say sudo cat slash etc slash shadow. Okay, and it is going to say what is the password of csmalik. So if I enter my password and hit on enter, and now I can see that I have access to this file, and this file is sensitive file. Okay, when we are looking at it, I ran this command as a specific user. Now I am able to see this file now. Okay, what is going on here? Well, we are running with the specific command called sudo, right? And we are still staying as csmalik. And we are doing this in a kind of one-off scenario. And the command without sudo, you notice something doesn't work. So best practice for this is saying, hey, let us go ahead and just run. Usually you should run things just as a regular user. If you get permission denied, then run sudo. So we can also switch to the different users with su command, which stands for switch user. So to switch user, we should run the command with sudo, else we get permission denied. So right now I have only one user in the machine, as I said, csmalik. So when I use this command, this switches to the root account. If I hit on enter, it should basically ask for the password. It doesn't ask now because we have already entered the password when we are using this command. So basically we are now root. For example, we can read shadow file without sudo command. So we can see right here, this just print out the encrypted passports in our machine. And also if we run as a root user, we will not get permission denied. So yeah, that is sudo command. So now let's try to copy and move the files in our terminal. The files from this projects directory into another directory. So just create another directory in this projects directory. So we will call it as test directory, for example. And now we can see that we have the test directory, which is in blue color. Now we want to copy this file name.py into this directory test. We do that with cp command. Well, cp basically stands for copy, and then the source, that is name.py in our case, name.py, and gap, and then the destination test directory. So test. Notice that I haven't given any slash in this directory at the beginning because this directory right here is inside this directory, not inside this slash directory. So just notice that. So if I hit on enter and ls again, we can see the file from here. Also, if I change the directory to test and if I list again, we can see inside the test directory also, as we are inside this directory. And we can also read this file. If I hit on tab and then enter, we can also see our code. So let me remove this with rm command. Rm, I want to remove the name file. Hit on enter, ls again. I can see nothing in this directory. So let me go one step back to the projects directory, pwd, I'm in projects directory. But let us say, for example, you do not want to copy the file that we have just deleted from the test directory. You want to move it. So for example, let's move again this name.py file. You can do that with mv command, which stands for move, same as cp command, source, and then destination. If I hit on enter, now if I list again, name.py no longer there here. So we cannot see it. So if I change the directory to the test directory, and if I list here, we can see that the name.py file is here in this directory. So mv command is used to move the files into the another directories, and also we can rename with mv command. For example, let's rename to this file. So if I type here mv and the file name that I want to change to welcome.py, it will rename the file to welcome.py as we can see right here. And if we cat here welcome.py, we can see that it is the same code that we typed before. So it is also essential to know that it can be used for two things, that is to move or rename a file or a directory. Thank you for watching.